This video is going to be made specifically for my little brothers, because one of them decided to get me a welding machine for my birthday, and I was like, okay, I'll set it up and see how it works, and I'll video it. And so that's me keeping my promise. This is the little machine from a company called Deco, which is, I think, designate something kindness only. I'm like, that's a weird name, but okay. Alright, so we're going outside because that's, yeah. Unless you have like special fans and stuff, you shouldn't be welding inside. And that might mess up the house. So this is some of my stuff. Metal's kind of dirty, so you need something to clean it. Welding's kind of bright, so you need something to protect your eyes. Welding's kind of hot, so you need something to protect yourself. And you need stuff to weld with too. Those are the welding rods. That's a piece of metal I'm gonna be welding. Before that, I've got to clean it off because I don't know what's on it. And with welding, there's a lot of heat, and when stuff is hot, stuff burns. So I'm gonna clean it up, and then we'll get to doing stuff. Alright, that side's cleaner now. Let's go ahead and set this up and do it. That's there, that's there. Let me go down there. Alright, so how welding works, or at least how stick welding works, is I'm going to take electricity and run it through this piece of metal, and it's going to be cool. But the electrical circuit will not be complete. There will be a spot where it has to jump through the air, and when it jumps through the air, it gets super hot. Kind of like baby lightning is the best way to describe it, because the air doesn't like electricity going through it, and so it provides a lot of resistance, and that resistance makes a lot of heat, and that heat melts the metal and everything around it. And that's how stick welding works, is essentially baby lightning melting metal. So here we go. We're gonna go ahead and flip a switch on the back. Little fans kick up. Little stuff starts. Little green light is on. I'm gonna turn this little knob here. About 85. And it's plugged in back there next to the fridge. I'm hoping not to trip a breaker. We'll see what happens. Also, the camera's far away because I don't want sparks getting on my iPad, because that's what I'm filming on and messing it up. So, yep. Alright, here goes nothing. Also, turn your helmets on. So it works. That's cool. Here we go. So I chipped off most of the slag on this little weld that I did here. Come on, focus, thank you. And then I'll brush it off a little bit more. And it definitely stuck to the metal, it definitely laid stuff down. But this is also a super thick piece of metal, and I'm not sure how well it liked it. The bead also looks really high and kind of cold. So we'll turn it up and run a few more tests and see what happens, and I'll get back to you guys. So, I did that one on video. Then I did these three not on video. And so I was having the same problem. I tried turning it up for this one. I tried pulling away a little bit farther for that one, and they both got the same sort of sputtery, not really working very well, kind of going off and on, and kind of just dropping on, not really wanting to stick. And then with this one, I did like these little circles, and it worked a lot better. So now I have some of that figured out. I'm going to go ahead and get some other material and see how well it all sticks together. So yeah. Alright, so I have some stuff set up. Got these thinner pieces of pipe here that gonna where's my hand? There it is. I'm gonna weld that together, and then I'm gonna try to pull it. I'm gonna tack it there, and then flip it around and weld that inside corner, and then twist it and try to see what happens and see if anything breaks off. So I might also mess with that corner there, because it was never always fully welded together. There's just some scraps I had left over from some fabrication from one of my welding classes. So it works a lot better on this thinner stuff. Focus. There we go, I think. And so it welded in there. And now we're gonna break it and see how it breaks and see what happens. Because my hope is, it doesn't look like it was, but that it's hot enough that it melts the metal and doesn't just like stick on like weird glue. Because if it does that, then you're not doing a very good job at welding. So here we go. We're gonna go ahead and break it just like that. It's not super thin, or it's not super thick, and so it should do fine. And then yeah, it took off a bunch of that with it, and that was pretty much the goal. This stuff isn't very heavy duty, and so it won't do a ton. Oh yeah, and I messed with that side and burned some holes in it because it was really hot. And this is like 16 gauge or something, so it's super thin. That looks thick because it's really close, but it's actually not. And so yeah, I'm happy with how that goes, and I'm looking forward to see what I can build and do stuff with this. The welding machine works, and it does stuff. Zap.